That's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? It is Boxing Day +1. Manchester United are back in business in the Premier League. Let's go. Big 3 points at home against the lowly Nottingham Forest. United really never got out of second gear, but still rolled them 3-0. Clean sheet. Rashford with a goal. Martial with a goal. Fred the Red with a goal. And you know what? We talked about it in the hot take. One of the good things I liked about this game was Erik ten Hag figuring out that there's no white knight coming in January, sir. There's no buyout. There's no more money on the credit card. I can't believe they spent as much money headed in to the end of the transfer window as they did. Kind of makes sense now that they're trying to sell the club. They want to get as much momentum behind it as possible, but ain't no more money left. Gakpo, he gone to Liverpool. He's a Scouse. Let him have him. If he's anything like Nunez, he's going to be a fucking bust. But this is about Manchester United, and this is about Erik ten Hag getting the most out of this squad, sir. What I'm talking about is AWB having a place. Not as good as the last game, but he played decently today. But who played really well? Shaw looked good at center back. Casemiro continues to impress. Bruno playing a role. Rashford looks dangerous. Garnacho looking good off the bench. Eriksen's a player. Sir, brick by brick, baby. Nottingham Forest ain't got nothing. But a year ago, we would struggle in these games.
We would struggle, and credit to the manager, Erik ten Hag, being creative, putting players at center back, Casemiro at center back, Luke Shaw at center back. We needed this sort of ingenuity whenever we had some insane rotation. Coach needs to play somebody. It's the World Cup break. Everyone getting up to speed. And Erik ten Hag aces the test. A tricky Burnley. Then you got Nottingham Forest at home, as we should be dispatching them easily. Having a good time. Boxing Day +1. Feel good as a Manchester United fan overall. The excuse factory is laying people off. The hype factory is hiring. I say this is good news. 3 points. Right outside top 4, where we want to be at this stage in the season. The real question is going to be how long can we keep this going? And will ten Hag figure out the rotation? Like I said, that's the hardest part. It looks to be acing the test.
For sure, sir. We talked about it in before the World Cup, during the World Cup, and as the World Cup is coming to a draw, everything around how Erik ten Hag is likely to perform for the remainder of the season as the manager. I think one of the biggest blind spots that we identified, I think you had been hammering this, and I came to an agreement with you on this, is that the man need to learn how to rotate. It's like the squad is the squad you got, and we had a decent summer for sure in terms of bringing in some reinforcement, some true players, and Casemiro, Eriksen's of the like. But at the end of the day, it's like he's got a pretty deep squad. He's got the AWBs, the Freds of the world that he's going to need to rely on, even if he doesn't want to. And the last couple of games, he was forced to. He had no fit center backs. Played Casemiro as a center back in one. Played Shaw as a center back in the next. Both are top players in their position, and both shined in their respective game. Casemiro was class, and Shaw played really well today against Nottingham Forest. So that is important to see. And I am going to call a spade. Not even about the quality of the player. Knowing that we ain't got no money for no signings is actually going to be a blessing in disguise, because it's going to save a lot of headache for all you Manchester United fans, myself included, worrying about who we sign. And we going after Fernandez, this new hot shot out of Argentina. So we ain't signing nobody, because if we couldn't get Gakpo, we ain't getting nobody. Even though Gakpo didn't make sense to me, another winger, we need a number 9. But it's going to be loan, sir. It's going to be loan summer. Odin Agala, where you at?
I mean, the first rule of transfers is you don't buy nothing that Murtaugh is selling. The second rule of transfers is you never buy somebody off a hot international tournament. Cody Gakpo, the time to buy him was last summer. He was arguably the better buy to Antony, because Antony ended up costing way over our skis what I think he's probably worth. Gakpo would have been that 25, 35 million winger with upside. Right now, there's no upside at the price that he was offered at Liverpool. International trip, we saw him play for the Netherlands. He looks slow. He's in between a winger and a striker. Does well in the Dutch league. You're buying the future for Gakpo. I just don't think it's the right player for us now. If you say João Felix alone, much more exciting. He has the pace. He has the upside. Obviously, there's no loan to buy option given how he's offered right now, but even a loan of a João Felix gets me much more excited than Gapco. So I do think we dodged a bullet there. Willing to die in that sort of he scores 30 in the league and becomes the new Holland, but I just don't see it as far as the transfers go. And Erik ten Hag has to figure out what he's got a little bit here. And we do need an out-and-out number 9. We can't be like messing around in the transfer market trying to buy wingers who can play 9. We have 2 of those. That is Martial and Rashford. We need a locked-on, like Zlatan character. We haven't had anyone at the number 9 position since him who could do the job.
It's a great point. The only way it made sense to me was if Erik ten Hag knew more than we did, which he might, and that Gapco could play number 9. You talk about the lack of pace. He's got a quick shot. That's one of the things I picked up watching them play and beat up Qatar in Doha when we saw that game before the U.S. game. Is he does have a quick shot. He's got a good shot. He's not as fast. Doesn't have that explosive speed that is often very helpful in the Premier League. But unless he is slotting in as a number 9 for Manchester United, it never makes sense right now, given that, like, you mentioned players that can barely get in the fold. How about players that are on loan that also, like, are looking to get into a fold? How many right wingers, left wingers have we bought over the last 3 or 4 transfer windows? You have Ahmad who's trying to get in, Facundo. Not to mention Jadon Sancho, who's like isn't even the squad because of things outside of our control. Anthony's got a big price tag to live up to. So like another winger just never made sense to me. Also, Garnacho is here. What are you going to do with Elanga? It's like, sir, we got so many right wingers, left wingers. We need a number 9 meathead, just big boy. Give me Andy Carroll at this point. Somebody. We need somebody. We have one striker on this team.
But what's concerning to all fans, and we've had conversations about this at length, is that Erik ten Hag wanted Gapco. We did not get him Gapco. The Glazers aren't taking the dividend. There's no money there. I mean, we got rid of CR7. That was the right call. I said, hey, man, like, you get rid of him. Like, he's not playing well, so you don't really lose much. But at the end of the day, we're not going to replace him. I'm sure Ten Hag was told something else. But this is a Gallo FC until the Glazers sell. I mean, they're not going to invest any money in this team. Ten Hag's going to have to make do with what he's got. I think that's why we saw Donny Van de Beek. I think we're seeing a practical Ten Hag going –
I think he's realizing he's not getting any players, sir. Is that what Donny Van de Beek? We were saying that watching the game together. I was like, Donny Van de Beek's player? That means we're getting nobody else. He's got to rely on Donny.
Well, I think that is also like good in some regards. He has to figure out what he's got and like making these sort of, we need to be better in 5 years. We don't need to be better tomorrow. I think that's really the problem is like we need to be thinking of this over the long term, new owner, Ten Hag, director of football, et cetera. And we're kind of in a weird phase, and it can be frustrating with fans, but things are going well, and you just got to ride the wave because, there is going to be – we're not going to win the league. We can fight for top 4. I think hope for momentum among the squad, hope for Ten Hag finding out who the bluffers are, who the real dogs in the squad. Casemiro, like proper dog, like he can eat all day in the midfield. What a player. Talk about a signing. Anthony, like, bluffer to me to date. I don't see that one coming good. That's just going to be on another heap of wingers that we overpaid for, including Facundo and Ahmad. But, that's just life at Manchester United at the moment. We're kind of in between the rebuild and the new ownership. And let's just enjoy it. 2 wins on the trot. Quick PSA for the podcast, sir. You want to support the America Red Devils, please check out our Patreon page. We don't have any ads on the podcast. We try to keep it brief here. We're not selling you anything you don't like. We're not having any big intermissions in the podcast. We just talk about a Muppet take that is Manchester United. Check it out. Support us. You get a bunch of benefits. Also, check out our store, AmericaRedDevils.store. We have tons of merch available. Everything you purchase, it's all really reasonably priced. Alex ships it to your house. Everything you buy supports this small-time operation. Also, check out our blog, AmericaRedDevils.com. Great fan-generated content there. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews, they're a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically. And even better, we got a special new promo to keep those 5-star reviews coming. If you write a 5-star review, wherever you listen, whether it be in iTunes or Spotify or the like, we will send you a free Glazer Out scarf. So you want to ride that Glazer Out wave while it's hot. It will not be here for long, and who knows, maybe they'll recap it and stick around forever. So that's even more of a reason to get one of these scarves. Write a 5-star review wherever you listen. Send a screenshot to AmericaDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship a free Glazer Out scarf straight to your door anywhere in the world. Great way to support the pod. Here's a great 5-star review from M. Petrovich. Massive Muppet Mayhem. Glory, glory, Man United. The best Manchester United news this side of the pod. Casting world. 2 Yank lads who love the Reds as much as any of the Stretford End faithful. Good, concise, thought-provoking conversations are the best club in the world. The lads bring up poignant discussions about players, tactics, transfers, and everything that a diehard Red Devil wants to hear about. 100% Manchester United with a bit of a U.S. flavor. Listen to the great commentary and banter. Glory, glory, Man United. Matt in Brighton, Michigan. Thank you so much, Matt, for such a great review. You do us too kind, sir. You know what? 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. Not bad. I could have taken a couple more, sir. We're hungry, like you said. Hungry.
Let's get into it. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Christmas came late for Manchester United fans at Old Trafford. Let's get into that lineup. We had Dave Saves. Put some respect on this man's name. Extend his contract in and net. Malacia left back. Luke Shaw, Varane center back pairing. Wan-Bissaka at right back.
2 in a row.
Casemiro, Eriksen midfield. Bruno Fernandes at number 10. Rashford on the left. Martial at number 9 with the gloves on. And Antony at the right wing. What'd you make of this lineup when you saw it, Alex?
I mean, the big surprise guy by that back four, but to the credit, like given what was available, like a unfit / apparently he's ill Maguire versus Shaw as center back playing Malacia on the left and a resurgent AWB on the right. I was like, let's go for it. And actually, it turned out you have arguably the best midfield in the league playing in front of them, and Bruno, Casemiro, and Eriksen. And then, Rashford and Martial, they've earned their spots. Martial's the only number 9. Antony, he's got people behind him looking to take a spot, especially when Sancho gets back into the fold. But it's a solid 11. Should be able to do away with Nottingham Forest when you think about it. But what did you think when you saw it?
That midfield. That midfield says it all. Eriksen, Casemiro, and Bruno.
Class.
And Brazil getting bounced out early. Casemiro looks like fit. Real fit Casemiro. You saw him boss in the game today. Varane coming back. That's huge. And kudos on Wan-Bissaka for jumping in and doing a job, hopefully changing the manager's mind. He's actually playing well. So I don't think we need to be trying to sell him in January, get someone else in January. Just play Wan-Bissaka. He can do a job. He's a player. I don't necessarily think he's the future, but we need to get Luke Shaw, do a job, do your job. That's what Manchester United needs to be. We need to get through the end of the season, make top 4, hopefully beat our rivals, and win a trophy or two. Let's get into that first half. United start in control, not as sharp as they could have been. There is a little bit of everyone getting back to full fitness, getting back to full pace post-international football. 6th minute, Malacia forces the keeper into an early save after some nice play from Rashi. We didn't have to wait long in the 19th minute.
Here we go, sir. Spanish commentary, keeping it going from the World Cup.
Del Manchester United, enorme jugada preparada, todos esperando el centro. Marcus Rashford pone el 1-0 antes de los 20. Qué golazo, qué bien ejecutada.
Muy bueno el gol, aparte no es nada fácil.
What a goal from our Marcus Rashford. Look at us scoring from set pieces. Who would have thought it only a couple years ago? We couldn't get nothing on target. Gotta be said, defending could be a little bit more from Forest. That's probably why they're going to get relegated. But a nice finish from Marcus. Does it well to keep the ball down. Good goal. Manchester United 1-0. Let's go.
Nottingham Forest has conceded 33 goals, the second highest in the EPL, and they're bad at set piece defending. Glad we finally were able to take advantage of it. Opened up the game, and then in the 22nd minute, Martial.
Sir, how you doing, Martial? Let's go.
Se va y a ver esta que bien la bajó Rashford, engancha Rashford, pide Martial. Ahí va Martial. ¡Gol! Del Manchester United. Es de Anthony Martial. Pero aplausos.
Sir, it could have been a beautiful goal. It was a nice goal, but to be fair, Hennessy probably should have saved it. Maybe it was the slickness of the rain. It was absolutely like pelting down at OT, but in Boxing Day +1. But Martial, to his credit, Rashford does well to put the ball across and get found in the first place by Bruno Fernandes with an excellent ball over the top. He looked electric all day. Martial does well to get it on target. Needed a little bit more oomph probably to beat a top-class goalkeeper, but we'll take it, right? 2-0, let's go.
Hey, you got to get lucky. I felt the finish wasn't quite there for Martial. Great build-up, but, he's got to do better. Find the corner. He's trying to place it. Places right into Hennessy. A better keeper saves that. Again, we're hiring. Number 9, where are you at? 38th minute. Antony curls a shot just wide. Again, the left boot trying to get home. This was it from Antony, really. He also had another chance he didn't convert. A little disappointing performance from him. 40th minute, Forrest score from a free kick that's overturned. Handball, offsides, praying to the VAR gods. That's why we do it. Glad this didn't go in. I thought we got lucky here. At the end of the day, this would have been a heartbreaker. Take the air out of the tires a little bit from this great first half, great start for United.
No doubt. Whether it's justified for them to get another goal, we looked a little bit like we were sleepwalking in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the half. To be fair, what they say about 2-0 advantages are the most dangerous in the game. But what do you think Erik ten Hag was telling the boys halftime? It's Forrest, lads. Let's go.
I mean, I think everyone was just happy that VAR overturned it. Like I said, pray to the VAR gods. Second half, Forrest come out trying to turn the game around. United were the better side. I mean, it showed. Bruno had a good game. 47th minute, he goes close from a corner. I felt like Bruno was involved in all these opportunities. We should have probably converted. Bruno and Rashi combined well to find Antony. This got to be a goal. I mean, a great play out of the transition. Finds Antony. It's got to score. Hennessy comes up big there. 60th minute, Martial with a nice chance after a great ball from Bruno, just not enough juice. I felt like Bruno was really pulling the strings here for the first 15 minutes after the half. Should have been a goal, just lacking that, killer instinct at number 9 and on the right wing at the moment. I mean, hopefully they'll find it.
100%. The midfield was absolutely flicking and just kind of grooving. I hate to use that word, but they just felt like they were playing in unison, playing really confident off each other. The end product just wasn't sharp enough. Antony could have had a couple goals. Martial could have had another goal. So it's good to see. It's always going to take a couple games to get our feet underneath us properly, but it's encouraging. It's very encouraging given, how tougher the opponents can be and how we played some of these games in the past against lowly oppositions.
65th minute double sub from Erik ten Hag. Donny and Garnacho come in for Martial and Antony. I thought he got the subs right, giving people a rest. Donny a little confused why he's coming in. Again, I think this comes from the
January transfer right there.
Yeah, you ain't getting nobody. Glad to see Donny. He didn't play. This is the first time he's really come in and just didn't look awful.
Yeah, I was to say, he didn't look terrible.
So good. I mean, this is part of the whole strategy. You're not going to get bodies. You're going to have to make do with what you got. Donny can't be that bad. I mean, we paid over $40 million for him. If you could stack up all the all the 40 million players that just don't look good, you'd have quite a few. 67th minute, great opportunity for Rashi. Great cutback from Garnacho. Beats his man, but Rashford doesn't kind of attack the far post or go to the net. That should have been another goal. I mean, we were creating great opportunities. What do you want to see? 72nd minute, Casemiro nearly beats the keeper with a nice chip. He was all over the pitch. What a player, Casemiro, you have to say. He's definitely man of the match. And then 77th minute double sub, Maguire and Fred. Maguire takes the armband back from Bruno, LOL. They come on for Ron and Eriksen. Then Alanga comes on for Rashford. And look, there was a goal here in the second half, and Fred ended up getting it.
He was fed by another Brazilian. Well done from Casemiro. Here we go in the 74th minute.
Disparo y a nada de hacer un golazo.
Engancha Dennis, que la vuelve a entregar mal. Y va Casemiro. ¡Fred! ¡Gol! Manchester United. La combinación brasileña de Casemiro y Fred. Pero otra vez la regaló Denis.
Así es, pero qué anticipación de Casemiro. Lo que es estar metido en el partido. Está leyendo la jugada, hacia dónde puede salir el pase.
You're hearing the words Casemiro a lot because his contribution in this play is just incredible. Like you said, just he showed it at center back a couple days ago. Today, he was all over the pitch. Just so much energy, such an ability to kind of dictate play. He comes in, cuts off the ball from the Nottingham Forest player, and then quickly gets under control and finds Fred with a perfect weighted pass. Fred does pretty well at the blast it wide, keeps it down, and a nice goal. But Brazil on Brazil connect, and just Casemiro showing his class. Or we might have paid top dollar for him, but he's worth every penny.
And also shout out to Varane, who played in the World Cup final 9 days ago and wanted to get in the squad for Nottingham Forest. I mean, that shows you the mentality of these players.
Came back early, sir.
Yeah, shows you the mentality of winners, right? We have some winners in the squad, and we need it. I mean, that's something we've been missing. A little bit of edge. Now we got that edge in midfield, and I think you're seeing it pay dividends. And glad to see the team hitting the ground running post World Cup. We all had concerns. It's never been done before, and we look really good. It looks like the World Cup, us coming back out of the international break. We've seen United go in looking good, bad coming out. We kind of like the car started to break down into the World Cup. We look like we're rested. We're ready to go. Everyone's fit. Couldn't be better. And like looking at the stat sheet, 17 shots for United, 8 to Forest, 8 on target for United, 3 to Forest, 66% of the ball to their 34%. That's a stat sheet.
Now we're talking.
That's Old Trafford, bad opponent coming to town, just laying it on them. And that's what we should be seeing. It's been so long since we've seen this. This is how it should go. And it's so refreshing to see. Manchester United have kept 4 consecutive clean sheets at Old Trafford for the first time since February 2020. And Nottingham Forest have failed to score in each of the last 6. We don't need to read about how Nottingham Forest is bad because we don't want to diminish this victory.
Point. Yeah.
But what do we know? Let's check in with the manager, Erik ten Hag.
Rafa Varane, given it was his first game since the World Cup final that he played.
On the performance of Rafa only, okay.
Yeah, and the overall performance as well.
I think you always question yourself after a break. What will be the restart? And we play a team, especially the back four. They never played together. Also a player who was never played ever in a centre back position. And if you then win 3, concede no goal, another clean sheet, then you are happy with the performance. And Rafa, I think he shows once again his great personality. Yes, the great standard he giving Manchester United. And by coming from the World Cup, a problem in the centre half position, and then he's taking the responsibility to play, and he performed really well. He was once again really important for our team.
Everybody speaks a lot about strikers. You've spoken a lot about strikers. You've been asked about it. Can the issues that you have in strikers, in numbers and goals, be solved by Martial and Rashford on their own? Is that possible?
I have never spoke about that I have doubt about that. And on the contra side, I think we have the 4 who play tonight together, and then even we have Garnacho, we have Elanga, we have numbers as well. But those 4, I think they didn't play not 2 games together. I think only Everton and Fulham. And then in Fulham was not even Anthony was.
So I get this guy's waving me on to hurry up. I just get pulled in to his golden locks that don't exist. Erik ten Hag starts talking, I want to listen. He was talking about Varane and the example that he set coming back from the World Cup, like you mentioned, and how much of a warrior mentality that was, as well as Shaw, never playing center back really, at least in the league, and how he shined, and then goal threat where you cut me off. But either way, he drives a hard bargain. Erik ten Hag has high standards. He's rocking a holiday turtleneck, sir. He's looking very seasonal, seasonally appropriate. Looks jolly for him. What do you think about the manager? How are we doing?
Hey, he got the 11 right. You win 3-0 at home, battering a bad Forest side. On to the next one. And that next one being Wolves. We got Wolves away at the Molineux Stadium Saturday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 4:30 a.m. Pacific, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. You know that we get up and watch all these games live. The wives are like, oh, no. This one is a kick in the nuts to start 2023, but we hope that we just show up because usually these games are really early. We struggle. Maybe it's the players get up early, the American Red Devils getting up early, but it's usually a rough one. But have no fear. Lifetime versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. We've won 52, drawn 20, lost 37. First time we played them, October 1892, Newton Heath versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. We won in the first division by a score of 10-1. I hope I get to see a score line like that in my lifetime. Wolves coming into this game, playing pretty good. They got pipped by Arsenal 2-0. They drew Empoli. They did beat Cadiz, which we could not. They beat Gillingham in a friendly. And then, actually in the EFL Cup. And then they actually beat Everton.
That Frank's in trouble. He's in trouble.
They're at the bottom of the table, but they're frisky. They got a win in them. We're going away. It's going to be a tough challenge. Again, our squad is challenged. Ten Hag's going to have to be creative once more. Martinez is still getting hammered in Argentina. Please come back. Please come back.
He is definitely getting hammered. He's getting hammered for a week.
You party for after World Cup. I mean, it's like you got a job.
You've been to Argentina, sir. They haven't won a World Cup in 30 years. Like they're getting lit. More than 30 years. It's 86.
You got a job.
They're getting lit city,
United
sir.
Pay the bills.
They're getting lit.
Little history about Wolves. Formed as St. Luke's FC in 1877. The club has played at the Molineux since 1889 and has been competing in the Premier League, the top division of English football, since winning promotion in 2018. The 2021 season is the club's 66th season at the highest level of English football. They were one of the founding members of the Football League in 1888. That is a badge worthy of wearing. And they were English League champions 3 times, 53, 54, 57, 58, 58, 59, all under the management of Stan Cullis. They've also pioneered European football, playing flood-lit friendlies against overseas clubs during 1953 and 56, which actually turned into the pilot for the competition known as the Champions Leagues. They were the ones to first play European nights under the lights. So Wolves has a long history in the top division, a long history as one of the founders of arguably, I would say, European football. So they are on the down. They do have a big billionaire. They're owned by a sporting group out of China that sports $20 billion in revenue. So they should be doing a lot better. They sacked their manager, or their manager went to Spurs. They haven't been the same since. You see the familiar names: Neves, Moutinho, Costa, Semedo, but they're just not showing up. Something's wrong with Wolves, and I will take it. We need 3 points on the road. Let's go.
Totally. Frisky opponent, they're in 18th place. We're on the edge of the relegation zone, but they're a team that a couple of seasons ago you would be dreading a fiery Molineux crowd on New Year's Eve, getting dark pine after dark pine into them. And they played some really good football over the past couple of years. They're hitting a rough patch. They are a dangerous team. They're on a bit of an upswing, as you mentioned, since the World Cup. Beat Fat Frank in the relegation fight, and it'll be a tough match. But if we come out, I think we have to play better than we played today, because they are a better team than Nottingham Forest, and they'll be playing at home. But dude, I would play that same back four. Assuming there's no one else available, like Delo's out. McGuire, I think Luke Shaw looks better because at least he's got some pace. And he looked good today. So be very interested to see who he plays in that back four. I think Anthony's ready to get hooked. Who you put in next? I think Garnacho is due for a start. Midfield, that's locked in. But it should be a great game, sir, other than the wake-up time. But, hey, we'll enjoy it.
You can't hook an 80 million pound man. as far as Wolves go, scored 10 goals, they've let in 25. We've let in 20. So arguably they just can't score. They ship goals at a decent clip, kind of like we do. So it's really going to come down to us trying to knock down the door. So I think if the attack, Rashford's really the difference maker, right? Rashford's hot. We got to ride that. Got to score early, open the game up, and then punish them on the break with our quality in midfield. And I hope we can do the same playbook that we did today, but they're a little stingier at the back than good old Nottingham Forest. They're the worst, second worst in the league, other than Bournemouth, shipping 34. Whew. Merry Christmas, 34 goals.
Bournemouth likes to concede a goal or two. Wolves will definitely be a little stingier at the back. Sa's a solid keeper. And it'll be a good game. It's going to be a feisty affair. But like you said, our midfield should be the difference maker. Rashford's on form. Keep him going. Martial, hopefully, the goal today wasn't perfect, but that should give a striker confidence. He's needed a goal. And then Anthony, maybe he can chime in as well. But either way, I think Manchester United have to be just gobbling up these 3 points against very winnable opponents, which was not the norm, the last couple seasons. So these are big, important wins against lowly teams, because that's where our bread has to be buttered. We got to be winning these games.
Sir, I'm back, baby. Let's go.
You're back, baby. We got some injuries.
All right. As far as the physioroom.com, Lisandro Martinez, he should be back. This makes no sense.
They won the World Cup. He literally doesn't know. He's like, I think Eric Ten Hag was like, I don't know.
But that is not great, right? You look at Varane losing the final, coming back, he should already be in Manchester. Christmas in Argentina pushing it, but you got to come back. The fact he's not back, that's concern. Dalot, he's got that thigh injury. Really needs to see Dalot get back to fitness. He should be available today, technically, but we shall see this week how it develops. Maguire's ill. Sancho, where in the world is Jadon Sancho? And then obviously Tuanzebe, Eric Ten Hag doesn't rate. But given
you see the further detail, I don't mean to cut you off. You see how it says internal disciplinary matter as the further detail given around Jadon Sancho? That's the first I've heard of that. That was a disciplinary matter.
But I haven't heard that. This
is not a credited website where we get this from.
You can't freeze out CR7 then Sancho. It's Ten Hag's got to I also think Ten Hag's been proven wrong on AWB. He froze out AWB and he's legit, a legit backup, not a legit player for the next re-sign him type of player. But Ten Hag has been a little stubborn on these players, and I think he has to be a little more. And Ten Hag's open-minded. He'll play AWB. He'll throw in Casemiro center back, and we look great. So I think he's probably got to learn. He's learning on the job a little bit, and I hope that it's not loggerheads with Sancho and Ten Hag. But it sounds like he runs a tight ship, man. He runs a tight ship. So
he does. So that'll be a storyline to watch. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, what's your lineup here?
I'm going that same back five. Obviously, De Gea, Net, AWB, Varane, Shaw, Malacia. I'm going to do Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, of course. And then the only change up front is I'm going to do Rashford on the left, Martial up top, and then Garnacho on the right. Him and Marcus will switch around, but switching Anthony out, giving Garnacho minutes. Who you got?
You got to bring in Magoo. What are you paying him for? He's the captain. You're playing away at Wolves. He could do a job. To keep starting Shaw.
Shaw's good, though. He looked good. He's got pace.
I agree he looked good, but, Ten Hag gave him the armband, said there's a player there. After the, given it comes to World Cup, if you're not going to play him now, when are you going to play him? AWB, Varane, Magoo, Malacia, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno. You're just going to see Rashford, Martial, and Anthony. That's it. And Dave Say is world number one in net. Extend the deal for De Gea. Big fan over here. Give them those the odds. What the bookies got?
Bookies have Wolves as obviously the underdog plus 320, draw plus 260, and then United the favorites at minus 115. Sarah, what is your score prediction?
1-1. I say a draw here. Trap game.
1-0. penalty United classic kind of squeaky bum time stuff. So 3 points. On to the next one. Let's get into some news.
United in the news. I'm sure everyone is aware. United were flirting with players. Now we're not buying players. Gapco goes to the Scouts Bastards for £44 million. Look, we say it here on the podcast. Manchester United are broke. Like, we spent so much money in the summer that we didn't have. It's all on the credit card. Glazers stopped taking the dividends. They got to sell the club because they're so broke. They can't raise money with interest rates where they are. I mean, they could, but it would cost them an arm and a leg. They're in a tough spot. Nobody wants minority investment. They're trying to literally sell the club. They're not going to be doing too much. Last summer was it. Ten Hag's throwing Donny van de Beek out there. That tells you everything you need to know. Again, getting rid of Ronaldo, what do you get? Nothing for Christmas. That was it. You can't make Ronaldo work. It's Martial or bust. And that's going to be tough to do the rest of the year. As far as the cohesive group, Ten Hag, A+. It looks like we got a core group of players playing well. But with Sancho MIA and Ronaldo going to Saudi Arabia and no replacements coming in, that is a little concerning for the long game. The 2 games a week for the rest of the year or the rest of the season game. Martial goes down, put Rashford at 9. He doesn't look as good. Where the goal, it's how it starts.
So we need a number 9. End of the day, like I said, this is good for us because we don't have to get our hopes up all January, because I was shocked we spent as much money as we did in the summer. You can make the argument that if United had their shit together earlier in the summer, they could have gotten Gapco and Antony for £85 million, but that's another story altogether. But the big story is, like, they went over their skis on spending. We are bleeding money out of our ears. They got rid of Ronaldo, of course, which regardless is the right decision. And that being said, it's like you're not getting nobody else unless you can get like a cheapo loan deal. And not even like João Felix, $8 million loan fee plus wages. Like, I don't think we can afford that, sir. I don't think they can afford the $8 million that apparently it's going to cost just to lease him for 6 months of the season. It's going to have to be like Choupo-Moting out of contract kind of thing, which, you know what? By hook or by crook, we have to kind of just hang on until the Glazers are gone at the end of the day. They have leveraged the club to the teat. We're out of money. We have so much debt. It's insane. They're now actually in the state of like burning cash weekly, where they are just losing money on an ongoing basis. And that's where we're at. So I think the only thing that concerns me is like these people are morons at the end of the day. They are, like, because they just look how they mismanaged this club. It didn't have to be this way. I have this like worry that they're going to have like such a preposterous expectation around the fee that a buyer's going to pay that, like, when they're off by $2 or $3 billion, I don't know, they dig their heels in, find some more money just to keep this bitch going. And then, look to push it a couple of years until interest rates go back down or something. But I don't know. But so you think that's impossible? Is there any chance that they could just like kick the can because buyers don't like it in this market? That's what my worry is. Like, no one paying $8 billion for Manchester United currently, right? No one is. It's not happening. 5? Would they take 5? They should.
Depends on the buyer. Yeah. That process doesn't sound great. Like I said like things I've said on the pod, like when they're telling you when they want to sell it and how much, it's not a good sign. So like, take it from someone who's been on the inside and the other side of these deals. Like, when you're communicating publicly about like an asset like this, by the way, you say it's for sale. Like, people come to you. Right. It's this Manchester United. This is the crown jewel of English football. It's the most storied franchise. This is the Mona Lisa of football clubs. For good reason, and the rich history of this club, the hallowed ground of Old Trafford, it demands that type of premium. And if no one's out there paying it, we're going to be in trouble. But there's options for clearly, like, Maui Gym Stadium is an option. Selling future TV rights is an option. There's tons of options the Glazers have to raise cash. But that's going to be like raising enough money to like build a new stadium, or raising enough money to buy players that will just like keep the lights on. And it's just going to be a struggle bus So it's an interesting time as a United fan. That's kind of how we need to caveat it, where it's like it's hard to criticize the manager because, like, yeah, he said go get me Antony for whatever the cost. Probably not the right decision, but like he probably didn't understand how like limited he'd be. I'm sure he was told to get a replacement for Ronaldo when he left. He's not going to get it. Like all these promises are made by the numpties in the front office. Numpties in the front office are greenlighting these valuations, these deals, and then you have an ownership group that's like selling, not taking the dividend, and trying to sell the assets. We're in limbo here, and Ten Hag's going to have a lot of challenges. It's going to be an uphill battle. So it's nice to see us playing good football at the moment because it's a weird time to be a United fan with all of this uncertainty swirling around us. It's kind of like Chelsea last year without all the Russian sanctions, but it's kind of this like dead club walking type of vibe. Like we're dying for players and there's no priority from the front office, right? So the manager's kind of like, well, you know, what am I going to do here, guys? This is Manchester United. We need a striker. Like, how could Manchester United not have like, that's just the way it's being run at the moment. And there's a lot of uncertainty on the future. So we have to kind of caveat our expectations a little bit for this season and just hope it sells. I mean, the biggest win we could get as fans is someone without human rights issues purchasing the club and who actually wants to treat it well. Yeah,
how about mild human rights abuses, just not severe?
No, none.
I like none. I would also like none, but that just feels like that's.
And someone who loves the club and wants to invest in it, and you know, and knows the club is bigger than any one person, despite everything we've seen with the Glazers. So it's a complicated thing, and this is one thing is like we just want to shut off and watch the football, which today we did and it was great. But then you're seeing like, why is our left back playing center back? Why don't we have a number? There's all these great questions, and I think it's gonna be more kicking the can this season. Last year we kicked the can. We kicked the can on striker last year.
We've been kicking the can since they sold Lukaku.
I know.
We haven't got a new number 9 since then.
But that's a weird thing. And so am I right to be frustrated as a United fan not to be like signing A-list players and competing for titles? Yeah, I'm right to be upset. But can I take it out on the manager? Can I take it out on the players? Probably not, because where the club is. So you're stuck in these two worlds where it's like one foot in, like demanding United being the excellence of like the what United should be, but understanding the club's being sold, and there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
That's right, sir. You nailed it. You know, the club's in limbo. We're in that kind of like Chelsea was until the deal closed last summer, and then they started frantically buying players, and the new owner didn't really know what he was doing yet, so he bought some scuds, and now we're in the wait and see mode, and hopefully the manager can cobble together what he has. So we had Humpty and Dumpty in the best of times going down to fucking Barca to get a Frankie de Jong deal that was never going to happen. Yeah, meat sweats go into the bar like drinking with like people that have recorded him secretly, and he thinks that he's like a regular genius, and that was during the best of times, sir. So now, which is like full court press, we have to get a sale done. This shit is just like, dude, the lights are barely on. You know, they're probably just trying to keep the wheels going, and the club doesn't run out of money so they can keep paying their employees, including the players. And hopefully, like you said, we've bring in an owner with good ambitions and a relatively clean bill of health. And dude, they are willing to take the time, the money, and the effort to build this great club back to the place it belongs at. And we'll see, sir. But right now, we have to just kind of hold on. Enjoy the transfer window, sir, because we're not going to be very active in it. But at the moment, there's a lot of pieces. They're not all perfect, but like I like what Erik ten Hag is doing in the restart of the Premier League season. Casemiro center back, Shaw at center back, AWB, he played a good game. Play him again. It's like that's good. We need to see that, and I want to see a coach who, even in his 50s, who's won some silverware, that is still willing to show like mid-season and first season in EPL's a new game. I'm learning on the job, and that is great to see from our manager.
Next bit of news here, Jordan Pickford rumored to be talking to United, Tottenham, Chelsea. If Jordan Pickford's our keeper, I think the pod's over.
Are you good? You called it? That haircut, bro?
I'm calling it. Like, there's no one more dislikable than like poor man Peaky Blinders Jordan Pickford. Like, if he's our key, if you go from Dave Saves,
I agree.
Who should be like
terrible.
He's literally like a Stark in Game of Thrones, like absolute legend. Like then you go to like poor man's Peaky Blinders. Like, I'm good, dude. Jordan Pickford,
So I guess you don't write. You don't write the 28-year-old. Good as a part. The guy who's like literally like not playing well for a relegation team. Like, you don't rate him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there's no more.
It starts for England. That's the
player that like it's almost like it's meant to be.
Honestly. Next
bit of news here. We get Charlton Athletic for the Carabao Cup quarterfinal kickoff. It's going to be Tuesday, January 10th. Pumped about this one. I think it's a great draw. City obviously won. They're the big dog left in the tournament. But again, this is a realistic trophy that we can win, and we got to be all in. Sir, jumping into fan questions here. At Jamal Mota. Sir, we should have known the game was cooked when Martial walked out with those gloves. Rashford is ready for another level, and Casemiro is a phenom. Wins back the ball and bosses the match. Harry on to collect his armband. The Gapco news is bad, but if we back Ten Hag, we will win. So appreciate that, Jamal. At Maybaugh13, Casemiro more like Clasamiro. I do like that nickname.
That is great.
Casemiro, what a performance. That said, Rashford, AWB, and Shot center back are all great. A point off top four with a game in hand. It's all happening. Glory, glory, Man United. I mean, like, sir, fans absolutely thrilled about the 3 points today. At Blue Vol 1976, quote, what a fun match to watch. Casemiro and Rashford making me happy. I think that is the vibe going around. And at Coach K0793, quote, where are we at with the potential sale by the Glazers? Chances that United pick up a solid 9 in the transfer window. Well, I think we talked about the sale. What are the chances we pick up a solid 9? Define solid is what I would say.
I would just say, like, you graded on a curve. I think there's a 50-50 chance we pick up a Odion Ighalo equivalent, like a 33-year-old last 6 months of his contract or like on a free transfer type of player. And you know what? If that's what it takes to get through like the last 6 months of the Glazer, fiefdom in terms of like that's owning this club, then that's great. Like I said, we're concerned about that, but 50-50 chance that we could find someone that fits our budget, which is limited. And he also fits the mark that he's like, the manager's even willing to sign off on him in the first place.
It's all a ruse. Gapco rumors are a ruse. Like the whole thing. I honestly think that like the way Ed Woodward ran the club was like, and Arnold being his successor is literally like, oh, transfer rumors are good because we're like being talked about and like get impressions and all that. And like eventually like fans just like over it. Like why, like think about it, we're being rumored Gapco. And then all of a sudden Liverpool just buy him without a peep. It's just like nobody cares about, like talk is cheap in 2023, sir. Right. So it's like we should be focused on doing business, not focused on like taking our picture in Barcelona and just like chatter. It's like such a waste of time. It's such a bad way to run a football club. And this is what we know. As far as if we get a 9, I put it 25% we get somebody. Like these guys got to be running around trying to sell this asset. I doubt they're like doing anything.
They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing
like
nothing.
I literally think they're like, see, we won today. Like, we don't need anybody. Like, that's like literally, it's like Humpty Dumpty. Like if me and Alex went into this business and like actually saw how they were running things, you'd just be like, literally be like, your head would explode. You'd be so shocked how poorly everything is run. Because you have a 600 million revenue. Like 600 million pounds of revenue a year. You have such a head start on every single other team, and the only way that you could like just destroy it is like having no idea what you're doing. Because even if you have an idea of what you're doing, you're going to get it right half the time over the 10 years. So you're going to have a better roster than you have now. I mean, like it's just incredible how that like every single player that we bought like over like you just go the list of players that we have paid a lot of money to is just like it blows your mind. You could literally use a dartboard and with transfers and do a better job. But look, that's it, sir. That is the podcast. Glad to be back. Glad the lead's back. 3 points, 3 goals. Let's go. Happy New Year, everyone, from the America Red Devils. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We're for fans, by fans. Support us on Patreon. Pick up some merch if you're so inclined. It does a lot to keep the lights on this podcast. Also, write a review, like, subscribe. Sir, give them the top 10 downloads the last 7 days. I got to jump. But it's been a great pod.
We'll see you next time, John. Number 1, Yeah, top 10 last 7 days. How you doing? How you doing? Number 1, Columbus, OH, Ohio. Carmel, Indiana. Buffalo, New York. Preston, UK. New York. London, England. Durham, North Carolina. Los Angeles, California. Brooklyn, New York. And last but not least, Cape Town, South Africa. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. Enjoy the new year. Big match on New Year's Eve against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It'll be a big one. 4:30 a.m. Pacific, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. We're seeing you out one last time. 12 days Cantina. Enjoy the New Year's. Enjoy the match. We'll talk to you all soon.